Hi there. My name is John Stevens, pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we are part of the ELCA. And welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where I take a look at the lectionary text and I tie him to an item from the Dollar Tree or the junk drawer or the kids' room or the garage. That's how we've been doing it. And thank you so much for spending a little bit of your week with me in this way and your partnership in this ministry. And thank you for the love that you're sharing with your kids and your congregation and your families. You, my friend, are rocking it. Thank you. Word of apology. Last week, I recorded the Dollar Store Children's Sermon video in a hotel when I was at Viberg Preaching Conference. It was late at night, and it was brought to my attention that on one of the videos, maybe both of them, the volume was quite low, and especially when I got to the end. And that's kind of like my wanting to make sure I didn't bother neighbors and all of that. It's more in here than anything in reality, but it lowered the volume. I am using my mic today and making sure that I use that in the weeks to come just to make sure. But anyway, word of apology for that. This is for, we are looking at this is for the narrative lectionary, and we're looking at John the Baptist asking questions. Are you the one, or are we to wait for another? And I love that John the Baptist feels free enough to ask the question. I mean, there's this concern that they're expecting the Messiah to do these things, come in on the horse, the military horse, to bring redemption and freedom and liberation from the Roman oppression now. And there's that. This is a side note, not really a side note, but background or all of that. Some of the things that might lead to the question. It's like, wait a minute, you don't look like the Messiah that I expected. So the springboard, though, is about questions, about how God welcomes our questions. Sometimes we can be told, and I have adults in my congregation that will tell stories about confirmation class and catechism and all of those things when they were a kid, being told that they asked too many questions. And I love the fact that the small catechism and large, but the small catechism, Luther's small catechism, is all based around his kids asking him the question, what's that? What's that? What's that? And what does this mean? And I love that, based in the question, what does this mean? And John the Baptist asking the question, what does this mean? Are you the one, or are we to wait for another? And Jesus says, tell him what you've been seeing, and that pulls it back into Isaiah and pulls it back to what the promised Messiah was to do. But the questions, I'm just laying down, I just kind of doubling down on the questions. And so the item is a big, from the Dollar Tree or from your garage, you can find a big piece of cardboard, a poster board, and draw a huge question. Huge question mark, and ask the kids if they know what that is. What does this mean? to pull back the Lutheran question, what does this mean? It's a question. Okay, now, depending on what you're doing and how you're doing it, if you have time in worship to do this, then you can. If you from here you're moving into Sunday school, or this is the beginning of your Sunday school, maybe around the question mark, you can have the kids come up with questions. What are some of the questions that you have that we might write on this board that help us? And that asking questions is deepening our faith. Asking questions and knowing that we have a God that we can ask questions about and of and to really is a wonderful gift. And so we don't have a God that says, do not ask me questions. Do not talk to me that way. We have a God that says, come as you are. Ask me the questions. And we as people of God, we work through and in and under and all of that, knowing that God walks with us in those questions. All right, so that's the springboard, a big question mark. I always, every time I think of the question mark, which sadly I probably think about it more than is healthy. I don't know. I think Austin Powers. And my father made outlandish claims like he invented the question mark. That was a terrible Austin Powers, a Dr. Evil impersonation. But still. All right. hope this can be useful for your own children's sermon. Thank you again so much for spending a little bit of your week with me in this way. And thank you for the love that you're sharing with your kids and your congregation and your families. You, yes, you are rocking it. We'll see you next week. Peace.